Hello, and welcome to my React tutorial. My name is Michael Landry. If you're a programmer and have been looking to learn the React framework, no doubt you've probably come across this book near the top, if not at the top, of most of your search engine results. The name of the book is Fullstack React, and it's near the top because it's a very good resource. When I started learning React about a year and a half ago, I purchased this book, and I can personally vouch for it being a very good learning resource and a very good reference guide. Um, what I want to do in this tutorial is cover the first chapter. Now, as it turns out, if you visit their site, fullstackreact.com, you can actually download the first chapter for free. In addition to the first chapter, you can also download code samples that will help you learn and explore the concepts covered in the first chapter. So if you like the book, if you like this tutorial, and you want to master the React framework and do it for your own projects, then I highly recommend purchasing this book. With that done, let's get started. Just as for the first few chapters of the book, as well as the first video of this tutorial, we won't directly be covering the React framework, but rather the tools and technologies and typical stack you'll find around a React application. So as far as tooling goes, I'm using a Mac operating system. Using Windows or Mac shouldn't really matter. The book gives a suggestion to download Cygwin, which will give you a Unix-like terminal experience on Windows, similar to the one I have here. I'm using iTerm. Mac users, you can use iTerm or the traditional terminal. Shouldn't really matter. I just like iTerm a little more because it has a few more tools that I like. So with that, let's get started. So I'm going to type in pwd to get my bearings here. I'm in my home directory. So from here, I'm going to change directory cd into my downloads folder, because that's where I'm going to find the sample code that I've already downloaded from the email I received from the website. So if I type in ls, I can see all of the contents of this directory. And sure enough, here's the zip file that I received from the website. And here is what it unpacked once you unpack it. So I'm going to cd into that. So I'm going to go cd sample chapter code. I'm going to hit tab to get autocomplete because it's faster. And I'm going to clear my screen here to make some more space. And I'm going to type in ls to see what we have in here. And it looks like we have one sample app here called Voting Amp, so I'm going to cd into that. And I'm going to take a look around here, and it looks like we have a typical React application. So first thing I like to do when I'm in a new application is I like to look at the contents of the README file, because that usually has good information, especially regarding how to get started on applications. And we have some instructions here that are suitable, although if you have a markdown reader, that's usually ideal for MD files. So let me just bring this up in Chrome, since I have a Chrome extension that can render markdowns. But you can use whatever markdown render you want. So this is the contents, just in a little more formatted form. You don't have to do this. Let's go ahead and follow the steps here. So step 1, ensure you have npm installed. So now, covering that tool real quick, Node is a JavaScript runtime. And as you probably already know, JavaScript is a scripting language that browsers have been using since they were started in the early 90s to add behavior to websites. And at some point it was decided that we should use JavaScript on the server side as well, with the upside being you only have to hire full stack developers that only need to know JavaScript to flesh out your entire technology stack. So that's the rationale for Node, and npm stands for Node Package Manager, and that's going to be your third-party dependency management tool, so you don't have to fiddle with that directly. So let's carry on here. Follow the instructions for your platform here. So making sure it's installed, so I'm going to go back to my terminal. I'm going to type in npm-v. And I get the version number indicating that npm and Node is installed on my computer. And now that we've confirmed that Node and npm is installed on my computer, let's go back to the README to do the next step. And here it's going to want me to install the HTTP server, a third-party dependency. So in order to do that, we're going to run this command, npm install. So back to our shell, npm install. And this is going to fetch all the third-party dependencies this application requires. Now you might get some warning or some errors. As long as the application comes up, it should be fine. This is just a toy application after all. All right, so we've installed our third-party dependencies, and in order to validate, if we type in ls to show the contents of the directory, you'll see that we have this new directory here, Node modules. That's where Node likes to put all the third-party dependencies for your project. And now that we've done that, we can move on to the next step. And the next step is to actually turn the application on by running the web server. So to do that, we'll run npm run server. So npm run server. And with any luck, it's going to bring the application up in our browser. And sure enough, here we are. It looks like we have ourselves a little e-commerce site with some little Reddit features of upvoting and some content and some colors. So if you're following at home and you've reached this point, congratulations, you've booted your first React web application. To summarize what we've covered in this tutorial, I've downloaded and unpacked the sample code on my machine. I've got it opened inside of my terminal, installed dependencies using npm, covered node in npm, and started our web server using the instructions in the README. Join me in the next tutorial to take a closer look at the sample application to see how it's structured and how a typical React application will look like. Thank you.